Hello again and welcome back to Planet Zoo with another speed build. I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday with the Machu Picchu, with the Black Panther and everything else. So if you haven't seen all of that, make sure to check it out. I have a bunch of content regarding the South America DLC, and in the upcoming days there will be plenty more coming, a new series and a lot of cool builds I prepared last week. So yeah, it's very exciting and I hope you guys are also looking forward to it and you're enjoying the content. If so, let me know in the comments down below. If you have any feedback, as always, make sure to drop it in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer. In fact, I actually answered to all of your comments in the past days. It's been quite stressful and it took me quite a lot of time, but I think it's really worth it. I really love the interaction with you guys. So thanks a lot for all the positive replies, and I'm really glad to know that you guys also enjoy the DLC as much as I do. So with that out of the way, let's talk about this build today. So this is going to be a modern Jaguar house. So the idea about this build is that this build is featuring everything that a modern day habitat has. So it is super realistic. I tried at least to make it as realistic as I can. It features a lot of things embedded. I tried to stretch the mechanics in the game as far as I could to make sure that you guys have everything in place. However, there are some slight little issues here and there with the blueprint. So maybe the blueprint that is included in the description right now is not the final version. I might have to tweak it tonight a little bit because I figured yesterday while testing the blueprint that the terrain work is a little bit destroyed when you place it down, and I haven't found a solution for that as of now. So maybe I need to redo some of the areas inside of the house. However, this build is not really inspired by any particular building, but this is definitely inspired by modern-esque zoo builds, like modern houses with a lot of concrete, with a lot of new kind of muted colors. It's really like desaturated, and then having some really colorful elements to pimp the building basically. And also I wanted to incorporate some of the new pieces obviously, but also in a let's say minor way. I wanted to like a lot more subtle way, so that they give this little finishing touch to it rather than being really in your face, you know. It's some kind of stuff I wanted to do to really see how versatile the pieces are also for a modern build and not only for the very much obvious tropical builds. Because whenever we have a new theme, I always try to make sure that I not only focus on the main purpose of the pieces, because mostly you can be very sure with Frontier that they nail this and you can build exactly what you want given the theme, but I always want to see how versatile the pieces are for also different approaches. And that said, I try to go for a very modern build and see how the new pieces work in a modern build, and I can say they work wonders. There are so many cool pieces that you can use. You can see I'm using the temple pieces here for this archway, which is the entrance, and all these little color elements you can see here, they should resemble the spots of the jaguar in their fur. So this is taken from inspiration from the actual animal that is going to house in here, and I wanted to create some kind of artistic way of resembling these things. Also these what is that? Octagons? No, it's not an octagon. How many edges has it? I don't know. Is it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So what is that then? Oh god, I forgot. Anyways, these elements are also here to resemble the dots that you find on the wonderful jaguar animal. And yeah, this one was originally planned as the Jaguar house, which it is. In fact, I redid this as a panther house once I knew that this is the Black Panther. Is available in the game. So you've seen potentially from my video yesterday, the Black Panther video, how this turned out to look with cinematic views. So in case you want to see that, I'm including these cinematics at the end of the video again, and maybe I'm gonna add some more of the Jaguar as well, because this is how you want to do it. Or I'm not really sure, maybe I'm also including a real-time part to show you around this habitat. Maybe this is the better, I think this could be the better idea. So honestly speaking, I'm just making up ideas now while recording. This is mostly like I do it because I want to give you guys the most obvious and most honest video commentary on my videos. So this is why I'm just like doing that on the fly. But anyways, this build, as I must say, has really made me a better builder in terms of habitat indoor houses. The indoor part of this habitat, as you will see later, is really intricate. It's really detailed. Everything was really hard to achieve, and I'm very happy that I did, because also with the traversable area that comes into play, because as of now I'm just preparing a little bit of the general overview, the general layout of the habitat. I was planning it, so I actually also have a little bit of a drawing, which I may include at the beginning of this episode, or maybe I include it here at the 5-minute mark. So I remember to do this, then I will put this in, because I feel like this is a cool idea. And to show you how my process is, because I actually made this drawing even prior. And for those of you who follow me on Twitter, they have seen this potentially already. So I like to just sometimes sketch out a few things just, with a pencil on a sheet of paper, just to make sure that this works. Also, when I was building this, the murky waterfall pieces were not in the game yet. And I tested to do this area with the murky waterfall, but I figured the clean water looks a bit nicer here, mainly because if that is a real habitat, the water that would be coming out of the wall, out of the little thing here, is definitely clean water, because you're gonna clean that anyways in this thing. Actually, we do have a water filtration system within this build, so you will see this later on, that I'll put a lot of backstage stuff in there. So that is where the staff members can roam around, and there are also actually 2 water pipes installed, or water filtration systems. I think it's called water treatment, right, in the game. So these things are in there. For your staff members, but also for your game. So in case you want to put this in your franchise, this habitat is not only looking great, it is working in franchise as well, because there is everything you need is in there. There is a keeper hut, there is a staff room, there is an energy supply, and there's also the water treatment. The habitat is fulfilling all the requirements that the animal has. It has enough climbable space, it has enough it definitely has enough space for the animals. Once they get babies, the space is getting a little bit too low, but very, very subtly. It's just like a minor percentage, so you're safe to go. And in case it's not enough for you, I always recommend to just slightly adjust some of the foliage, and then you have more space. I obviously tried to make it as overgrown as I could. It could be even more overgrown. The main issue here is the traversable area and not the looks of it. I would have loved to go for more, but again, the animals have a hard time. And I think this is actually where I spent the most time. Like, building this habitat was maybe not taking that long, but figuring out that the animals can traverse everything and the movement is right, that took me hours and hours, mainly because the size differences of the Jaguar seem to be very, very different in terms of how the traversable area works. So babies, for example, as it is with all the animals, have a way easier traversable area. Let's put it that way. It's easier because they are smaller animals and they can reach way more spaces. And it seems also that some of the foliage does not affect the babies, because they can just go through it, while as soon as they mature and they are an adult, they seem to be not able to walk through this anymore. And that obviously makes kind of creates a huge issue, because as soon as they grow up, they have a lot less traversable area, thus they're feeling very, very bad, and the welfare goes all the way down. So this is something I played around like a long time with, because I wanted to make sure that this looks good and this works for you guys, and this is not like a habitat to look at, but well, actually a functioning one. There is also a lot of education boards in there, there are education speakers, and there is also a shop. The only thing, and this is why I hit this now, make sure to watch how I build the path, because this is the hardest thing of this habitat. As you cannot save unfortunately you cannot save the path. You really have to try and build this exactly the way I do it over here. You have to make sure that you follow exactly the steps I'm taking here, and then you might be able to fill it in. I had a hard time doing this myself, so I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit of a fiddly work, but it's worth it, okay? It's worth it. You can potentially see quite nicely how I made this inside. But I'm not gonna lie, this is something you need to pay a little bit of some of your time into that, because this is definitely quite hard. But anyhow, it's just there and it's fine. Now you can see this is where I put the filtration system to make sure that this is a nice little indoors area. And again, as I said, I wanted to make it as realistic as possible. So this is a fully fledged backstage area for the keepers and for everyone. This is a fake entrance, which they are not going to use, because I needed to fiddle around a bit more with the habitat space. And so this is actually within the habitat. So all the keeper huts and all the buildings are within the habitat. So the staff members have a guest gate. It seems that this works, which is pretty cool. So the guest gate works. for the staff members only, because it's only connected with the staff pathing. So they actually take this gate to go into the backstage area, and they take another gate to get into the habitat. So that is kind of cool. This way I could make sure that these buildings are inside the habitat, because to save it as a blueprint, it has to be within the barriers of the habitat, and that way it could make sure that the people are still using the staff facilities while not traversing the habitat, because I didn't want to have all the mechanics and all the people always running across the habitat to get to their staff rooms. I just wanted to have a separate entrance, and that way it worked. And yeah, I also paid some attention to some light, but here I made a huge cut because that is the backstage area is mainly what took me ages to do, and I was like, hey, it's not that interesting for you guys to look at. And yeah, now the next thing I was doing is I paid a little bit of attention to some indoor buildings. Also, the whole building is lit. I definitely put some attention to lighting this time, which sometimes I forget. Honest with you, I forget this sometimes. So this time I didn't. And I made some kind of planter features here and there to get the tropical vibe in it, even though it's a modern-esque building. Another issue over here, I'm building with barriers within the habitat, which unfortunately also the blueprint cannot save. So this is only a temporary element here. I will have saved this for the future. I will have done this with the in-game pieces, but I think it's not all recorded. So you will see there is a slight difference in the final design. I'm going to show this in a real-time overview at the end. I think that's way more easy than just making cinematics. I think it's better. I'm going to show this in real time at the end of today's video. It's going to make this video a bit longer, but I think you will survive it. I think you guys have plenty of time at the moment, unfortunately. So hopefully you like to watch it, and this helps you out in case of using it. I really would love that you guys download this thing and give me some feedback on that, because honestly, as I said, I am super proud. I am really proud of this habitat, because it really is exactly what I wanted to do the whole time. I wanted to build a modern-esque building. I wanted to build a habitat that really works. I wanted to build a habitat that is realistic and takes a huge inspiration from my Krefelder Zoo recreation of the ape house, mainly because I felt this is such a cool inspiration, because you learn how real zoos would work. So you can even see that I tackled this traversable little tunnel over here, and I gave this a special roof, which I imagine there was a gate in that you could slide down or slide to the side. So there has to be like a gate to close it off, because at some point you only want to have the animals inside. So for example, if there's a storm going on or bad weather, and effectively when it's again, you can put some heaters inside. Obviously I didn't put the heaters in here because that would not work for the animals, it would be too hot. But if you have this in a more, let's say, temperate area, you can put some heaters in, and then the house is fine and the Jaguar can thrive and be happy inside the house. However, it's not, the space will not be enough. So what you need to do then is you need to definitely keep it open so the Jaguar will not move outside. I tested this in my franchise zoo, so that the Jaguar will not move outside. And the Jaguar will stay inside, but it still has the traversable area, so the welfare is not going down, but it's just going to stay where it's warm. So, I mean, that's how it would be in real life anyway, so I think there's no bad thing about this. And yeah, you can see me tackling the overall design of the house. I made some huge mistakes here and there. I just messed up the overall height of the roofing, which was a bit finicky to work with, and I'm just like selecting all the pieces here. God, this took me ages, but it was, again, very worth it, because yeah, it turned out to be looking really cool. I like the style of the building. It's simplistic. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like super crazily designed, but I feel it's realistic. It's that what you would expect from a building. I tried to move in as much glass pieces as I could, just to make sure that we have enough light, because these indoor builds always tend to be a little bit too much in the shade, mainly because the global illumination, how's it called? Is that illumination of the game is very strong. It's not that big of an issue, but still I would love to have even more sunlight being casted in here, because usually what happens in real life, once the sun is shining into a building, there are reflective elements that do reflect the light, and so it makes the whole building seem brighter from the inside than it actually is. So either you put some mirrors. Actually, I saw some zoos and some buildings use some mirrors to actually make the inside even brighter. So you put mirrors or very reflective things in spaces that are very much casted or like very much hit by the sun quite a bit, because that is definitely what you want to do in order to, you know, share the light a bit more through the room. That makes the whole light situation a lot better. Yeah, here you can see I'm building a solid terrace area, an upside area here with a kind of where the guest can go and have a little bit of a viewing platform. I covered all the ugly edges up with the moss stones. Oh god, these new rocks are so amazing. They are so super good. But yeah, it's just very, very nice indeed. And I think this is all about now fiddling in the pieces. I would say I'm gonna leave you alone now with the rest of this episode with the music, and then I'll be back at around 26, 27-ish minutes of this video, where we go and jump into the real-time part. Where I'm going to show you around and show you some of the changes of this habitat, and I'm really hoping that you guys are as excited for it as I am. Because I really haven't done a little tour, and I'm trying to be as gentle and nice with the movement of my camera as I can, because I got your feedback, guys, lately that you wanted me to move a bit more careful, which I'm going to do. Okay, so that's it for my commentary at this point. Enjoy the rest of the video, and make sure to give me all of your feedback down below in the comments, and let me know which is your favorite animal so far of the DLC, now that you have had a chance to play at least a day. And also, have you had the chance to breed a black panther? That would be awesome to know. Okay, so have a good one, and see you at the end of this video in the real-time part. Alright, here we go with the real-time part. We are outside of the habitat, and this is actually the habitat that is the original one. I have another one which is somewhere else, which you will see tomorrow in another video. But this is the final build from the outside, and I just use also my NVIDIA Ansel effects to use a bit of depth of field. This makes the whole thing even nicer, because if you look inside here, you have this blurred out a little bit in the back. I think that helps. And this is already the version that you guys are gonna get, and this is exactly all in. The only thing that you won't get, oh, there's a Jaguar running, look at that. Also, the Black Panther is not here. It moved already into its new home. So we're gonna have to deal with some normal Jaguars for now, but I think they're as awesome and they deserve a bit more attention. So if you want to see some of the Black Jags, I'm gonna put a few more cinematics at the end of the Black Jag, just because it works. Okay, so here you can see, let me just move a little bit closer while we have a look at this Jaguar drinking. This is the outside pen for the Jaguar, so it can go down here, have a little swim, it can just have some fun with the waterfall. I was also thinking of maybe putting a sprinkler in there, so it actually does use the waterfall area a bit more. I think I'm gonna do this before I release this to you guys. But yeah, I made this modern-esque planter over here. I just love how it works together with the texture of the Jaguar. This really, like, that was the idea, that it works together with the texture of the Jaguar and these colorful planters. And I wanted to have something in the background, and this is the grayish thing, which could resemble some gravel here. That makes the whole thing worthy to have a nice contrast and to really make sure that this is a bit, yeah, just a bit more developed, so to say. Also, that tree unfortunately does not come with the build because it's standing outside. I just put this in for reference here. If you want, you can always do it. But yeah, so let's move on into the house itself. I made this kind of open area. You can also see, by the way, that a keeper is coming out here, so they are using it. They have no issue to reach all the enrichment items. And yeah, Humpty Hippo. So if we move further in here, you can see this is Jaguar House, the wonderful font by Ricey here that is welcoming you. We have another education board to the left, which tells you that there is some rainforest problems going on, and I would love to see some new of those, by the way. I think we haven't seen too many of them lately, but yeah, look at that. It's like really nicely welcoming. It's all in size. It's not too big. It's actually really looking nice. There you can see a jaguar moving, two actually, moving over this log. On the right hand side you have the information kiosk with a bit of a nice implementation of the nature. We have an overgrowing planter on top. If we look to the top, you can see everything is designed, everything is really made sure it's looking clean and nice. We have on top the sky peeking through. We have some green stuff here, with some Planko music in the background. I don't know if I include the game sound, by the way, because it might be interfering with the sound. So we have a little bit of a recreation area here. You can sit down. You have a planter in the background, which I totally love, because that's how you see it in real life zoos as well. So in case your kids still want to watch the animals, you can sit down here and, I don't know, just wait for them, or just, look what's inside of your bag and get a little chocolate bar and have a drink. And while you're sitting here, you have this wonderful look to these water elements, so it's not too boring to sit over here. You can have a look to the outside. Maybe it's actually hot outside and you just want to have a bit of a cool breeze, so this is your area. It's in the shade, the sun is not in here. I imagine with all the water and palm trees and stuff, it is a bit colder in here. So yeah, this is how it looks. You have these water features on the right hand side. Left hand side is just like a little planter. If we go further, this is the first major viewing point over here. So we have an education speaker in here. So this area does not feature an education board. This is an education feature. These are the new wonderful glass pieces of the free update. So this is not a glass wall. Oh, there you can see one coming down. Oh, this is obviously fine, because that's exactly now showing how it works. So do you take... Oh yeah, it's taking that climbing log. Look at that. This is insane. This is insane. Exactly how I wanted it. And chip, down there you go. Awesome. Yeah, this is exactly how I wanted it. Oh, the other one comes just after it. Look at that. So they're taking this log and it's just jumping down. Animation looks pretty solid, so really cool. But we're taking the road up here now. So this is then what you want to do next. You want to go up to the viewing platform. And again, I made it that way that you are actually for a moment losing the view, which is totally intended, because I want you to go up here and be excited for what's coming up next. Okay, so we are just going up that road, which doesn't work right now, but there we go. Because I hold down shift too much. And then first of all, you are blocked a little bit, because I want you to go around. I want you to go into this area in the back, and this is why I intentionally blocked this area. You can still stand here and have a look through down here if there is one playing with the prey sack or with the hanging prey feeder. I don't know if there is someone. They do play with it, by the way. They use all the enrichment items, so not gonna lie, this is working. But once you come up, why does the game turn off the education board? Sometimes it does it. So actually these are Jaguar education boards. And then you're up here, you can get a lot of information about the Jags. I imagine that all of these education boards have some different info. Unfortunately in the game they don't, but this is how it is. And now we are above their privacy area. So below here, there is their little recreation area. We will go there and I'm gonna show this to you. But this is then another lovely viewport over here. So you can see there is a nice little area in the back. And this is exactly where the animals can be a bit more private. So it's a bit more jungle-ish in here. And I wanted to have like a modern-esque window front. So if you go up here, you do not only have the view down into this area, but you actually have the view into that area too. So I think this is pretty cool, and it makes you move up here and have something interesting to look at. And as I said, we're going to have a look at the night view as well. There's also a bit of a planter here. I even made like a backstage access, so in case that people need to do some stuff about the planting and stuff, so really important. But yeah, now I need to take a little bit of a shortcut here to go inside of the habitat to show it from the inside, because it doesn't work another way. This is my little shortcut here, going through the habitat. So here we go. This is inside the habitat. You can see this is the jungle area for the animals. They use it. They have some enrichment items here in the back. There's like an ice block, and there's a little one of this leather thing they can play with. Oh, this ice. Well, there was my hard drive space gone. Sorry for the little cut. We are still back in this wonderful environment over here. I'm very sorry that the there was a little cut in here. Again, recording so much in the last couple days, it kind of made my hard drive crush, and I forgot to delete some stuff, and that is why. Anyways, we are back, and we go now into the back of the habitat, which is where you can go outside. So this is the transition area to the outside. So this could be like a gate that can swing down or just like being closed. And to the left, you have this wonderful little hill that leads into the lower part, which is where we go later. But let's first of all move around here to just show you a bit of the outside area first. There's one jack coming in. Oh, look at that. I love the model. It's so good. It's so good. I mean, Black Panther is cool, but this one still looks awesome too. Like really, really lovely. Oh, God. I could just look at them like the whole time. Okay, but this is the outside. You can see they even have like a climbing frame outside. They don't use it that often. Maybe for you they do, but for me they don't use this too much. I think they have enough climbing space inside, so that's why they use it. So potentially if you want to have them climb here, just delete the stuff inside and you would see them going on top of here as well. I put some scent markers everywhere to make sure that they go everywhere, which they do. As I said, they are not really going too much on the waterfall on the right hand side. I even put some logs in here where they can climb. Mainly these logs are here so to make this area traversable. I'm just going to show you quickly. So this is the waterfall area, and I love how this all works together with the moss and the water VFX. It really makes it look even more wet, and I don't know, it's just really exactly what I wanted it to be. But yeah, so let's move in. There's another one just running out here to get a drink. I love that they just take this outside area as the drink area. I intentionally didn't put too many pipes inside because I figured it's like a nice idea to make sure that these animals always need to go out. So it's really, you have to trick the game every now and then to make sure that you use it as it is supposed to be used. So a little issue is we cannot go here with the Tajet cam. So I'm gonna make like a little cut until we are down there. So I just need to move around. Main reason is I didn't use terrain to go down here because it didn't work. This is like all rocks, and you cannot walk on solid rocks with the Tajet cam. So I'm gonna be back with you downstairs in a second. Alright, we are downstairs and we are just greeted by one of the jacks coming down and hopefully taking that log to walk past. Oh, look at that. This is insane. Oh, I love it. I just love this. Has like thumbnail potential. But yeah, so this is the lower area of the habitat. It's quite overpooped, I'm gonna say. This is where they can also roam around. They can see one sleeping in the back here. So this is exactly what I wanted. Like, this is very lush. It almost like vanishes in the background. So when you're looking from the viewing area, it's really hard to see that one. It's really exactly what I wanted to achieve. Something that they use it as in real life. They're really hard to spot because they're actually going pretty nice indeed together with the nature. But yeah, the last bit we're looking again, some climbing frames over here. This is another climbing, some bamboo, some enrichment items, just very nice and subtle. But if you go further in here, we are going through a tunnel which leads into a proper little backstage area. I'm just gonna make it a little bit quicker. And this is a very bare bone backstage area, as you would know it. So there's an entrance to what I imagine could be like a veterinarian area or whatever. And to the right hand side, it's something I do like quite a bit. This is a window to one of the habitats, one of the staff rooms. And in the staff room, people I imagine would sit and can still watch the animals. So that is a good idea, I think, to make sure that this is also maintained, this area, and they know what to do. Let's just go through that wall over here to show you what is on the other side. So this is the final back stage area. You can see we have a water treatment here. We have another water treatment here. Some of the plants are sticking out. I might just fix that. And then you have this corridor. Oh, I missed out on a door. Okay, so these tours are always cool also to fix some of the minor issues. But as I said, you also have like another little hidden area to spot through. I'm just going to peek through here. It's actually very reflective at this point in time. You cannot really see that much. But I imagine that you do have another view inside of the habitat that guarantees you the kind of maintenance of that habitat in case you can see something that the guests don't see. Because in fact, if we go through this wall over here, we are back in this area. So it's all connected, it's all pretty realistic, and as I said, I need to put that door on the other side, but yeah, that is how it is. And this is the final tour. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I most certainly enjoyed that a lot. Like, I'm a big fan of this habitat. I'm really, like, I'm not gonna lie, this is potentially my favorite habitat. What's the security guy doing there? Is it dancing along with the jack? god, this is, oh, I love when the Jag is like going behind. This was intentionally built that way, so you have exactly this peak. You can see the animal, it's going, the excitement raises. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this little tour. I hope you enjoyed this speed build. If you want to see more, obviously subscribe, because there's a lot more coming in the future. Also, if you have had a close look in this episode, there were already some little spoilers of something that's going to drop tomorrow. I'm not going to mention what it is though, but there were some major spoilers in here I couldn't avoid, and I just didn't talk about, so you guys are not like, I didn't put your nose on it, you know? That's what I didn't do. But yeah, that has been the Jaguar House. I hope you guys enjoyed this speed build and this little tour at the end. Make sure to comment down below what you think of it, and if you want to grab this, download it from the workshop right now. Make sure to rate it there as well and give me some comments there as well. Really much appreciated. And yeah, until then, have a good time, guys, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Goodbye.